Hello everyone, welcome to Nix's Eye. We've got a little 5v5 public lobbies here on the area officials. Team 1 in the ANS Blue Trunks, we've got Tasty Cookie, Goatfather, Selen, Savi, and Mav. Team 2, Orange Trunks OSP, we've got Hallow, Sunny, aka Sunflower Girl, Wyvern, Shrike, and Trident over here squaring off. Good luck, have fun being declared. We'll see how these teams deploy to destroy each other. Looks like ANS deploying a couple of their assets over here towards the B side. Might be committing some tonnage there to try and contest that. ANS typically likes to favor kind of more the open side. I found that the D point of being very good for them because they get that long range fire with their RPF guns, very accurate with that. 250 RPF is nothing to sneeze at, especially with Voxels putting a lot of it downrange. You can get some of that from the frigates and corvettes as well, or even the side mounts on an Axford if you're feeling a little bit greedy. So we'll see what exactly these teams have brought. And meanwhile, the OSP looks like they're doing a sort of even deployment here. A couple assets up top here, kind of towards the A point. You got a couple things deploying in the backside here. Might be some carriers or other stuff. Looks like we got a bit of these guys going through here. Hello, getting some interesting little pairs going along there. We recognize a couple of these players, and it's nice to see them coming out. Hello, got quite a few ships, so we'll see just what they've got in store. All right. Let's see. Talking, Tasty memeing there. Good old memes. We do love the Nebulous community and their affectionate little, like, just kind of funny bits. All right, anyways, let's get this game loaded up and locked in 1 minute. Oh, never mind. They're just going to be... Shrike's like, what do these words even mean? We don't know. Welcome to the pregame lobby. They were dead silent in the pregame, like, actual lobby screen, but now that they've started out their fleet comps, they are like, hey, I've got a minute to kill. Let's work on it. There you go. Flicking the ready screen there just to try and get people to lock in. OSP is readied up. This is how they're going to deploy. A couple assets low on the left there, a couple of them high across the 8-point side, and then looks like a grouping kind of behind the rock here. Might be carrier in one of those or other. Kind of interesting seeing it going right into the rock there instead of over in this direction. A couple of these assets on the side, and then the ANS in turn going a little bit of their things down the middle. Minimal investment going towards the D point singular. No, maybe a double ship over there. Tasty coming out with some stuff, and a nice little split off towards the B point. So ANS electing to play the field. OSP kind of looking like they're going to stack up the A point and a bit of the D point there. Maybe a little investment over towards B because you can go down the middle and then slide over. But we'll just have to see what they end up bringing to the field and then how they end up dismantling each other. All right, we're going to see if I can't get through the fleets in a reasonable time span because there's 10 fleets to go through, and I've been trying to get better about that, so we won't go all fully into details, just kind of the loose kind of like collection of what we see on the screen. Maybe if we get like a weird standout, I'll comment on it, but hey. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, go. Let's see what these players have brought here on the deploy drop in. Let's see, this appears to be a battleship here. Finite Turing machine. Okay, 250 on the back and the front side guns here. All right, got some 450 and Mark 62s as well. Damage. All right, yeah. That is damage per second central. Dang. I have to do the math on just how much that hurts. Anyways, let's take a look here. So Savvy coming in with the big battleship here. Got guns all around. Take a look at the internals. Yeah, ammo elevated. All those drives there. This thing's gonna go fast on triple whips. I was curious about how this, because Savvy is one of the new players, would it be put together. Anyways, got a little escorting brick, Sarissa's gun, jammer, and lock. Looks pretty good. Spyglass? Nope, just front line. All right. Goatfather coming over here on the far side of the map. As we saw, Savvy had deployed. Where was it? Savvy deploying on the left side here for the B side push. Goatfather up top here. Going to be rocking a 450 Axford Comjam backpack. Side gun, some Auroras on this. Interesting stuff. Couple defenders. No chaff box by the looks of it, but might be on the escorts. Speaking of escorts, we're seeing a CL here. 250 sweeper. Defenders all around. Drives. Yep, Whiplash Raider as you would expect. So a nice little asset there to go fast. Got Black Sabbath here, which has got appearing to be an illuminator and a bunch of little guns on this thing, as well as the chaff for the group there. So probably an escorting picket asset. All right, nice little battle group there to move up. Let's take a look. What do we got over here from Selen? Selen? I think it's I want to say it's Celine. Anyways, 450 on this thing is the assault. What's that? Who's the name of that character? It's from Breaking Bad, I want to say. Anyways, 450 on this thing. Got some Mark 61s as well, and some Sarissas here. A bit of point defense goodness on that. Battleship drive setup, Whiplash Raider, pretty good stuff. Got itself a picket escort here. Sarissa's brick is in the building. That is a good way to deal with some of the enemy fighter craft or incoming container strikes. Lastly, in their fleet, they've got themselves a little locker capper guy over here, just able to hold bullseye and keep that distance. All right, we're gonna see, we got the first of the carrier players, Mav, coming out here, getting some Tantos off the deck. Let's check the flight complement. A couple of these CWAC sundials there. Got a whole bunch of these Tantos. Looks like just pure Tantos on this thing. Okay, so probably gonna be some mixture of 20 mil and coil gun. Let's see, what did they get airborne first? Looks like it just nose illuminators, actually. That is different. All right, interesting little fleet there from Mav. Coming out with a Mark 62 little 120 gun brick device here from that Corvette. Got another one going towards C point, and finally a third one going towards D point. Lastly, we're going to have Tasty Cookie coming out here with their own little carrier. They've got themselves a couple bombers, a couple of Tontos, and this thing already getting some Sundials airborne. They've got a whole bunch of these little gun cappers. So we're seeing these guys. Yep, Mark 61, Defender, and Chatbox should be pretty much all of them. So we get one of them, two of them, 3, 4, and then the 5th one going to be over here on the D side. 6th one as well, and then the 7th one going to be going out to the C point. That's the ANS. All right, they're capping their initial naturals, doing their rollouts, doing a bit of aggression over here towards the D side, trying to hold back the enemy. Let's see what Hallow has brought to square them off with. Okay, they've got their 120 shuttle that's going to be so... Yeah, that thing's going to be seen off by these 3 corvettes. Very nice investment there, being able to bring along a little pair to complement the kind of neutral cappers. Hallow has got 2 of these T-20 cappers going there, and then we'll see they've got a T-20 capper over here going towards the A point. They've got themselves... That's the capper we already covered. This is going to be the one going towards the B point on a bit of a leisurely stroll on the underside there. You'll see a E point capper here. Again, one of these T20, double T20 and Chatbox cappers. Very good stuff. Rocket capper over here. Got some rocket shuttle goodness piece on top of that thing for defense against torpedoes, covering the A point somewhat. Got another one of these sucker punch devices down here on D side. Might be getting some work done soon. Third one kind of hanging itself back here in reserve. And we've got a mine launcher. Oh, mine launcher shuttle here kind of going towards guarding the E point there, set up that defense. Very nice. And then another mine launcher shuttle over here to do something in this vicinity. Lastly, they've got themselves a carrier back here with, yep, it's Hallow. There's a T-30 on this damn thing. All right, check your flight comp. What do we got? A couple of bombers and then a whole bunch of Barracudas trying to get off the deck, and looks like a couple of Sundials. All right. Shrike also is running themselves a Journeyman with the early warning radar. This is a tech you can do that I've actually kind of been considering. It seems useful. Oops, Strike out here. We're seeing some size 2s coming out here. Act CMD Val. Let's see if these are going to find the capper on the A point or not. Need to get through this quick. Other levy doesn't have bombers. Yeah, we're kind of looking through that. Anyways, size 2s are going to be looking like they'll find impact here. Maybe Command Validator going to be working smack right into the midsection there. CIC does go down, can be restored, which means that this ship will actually survive and probably live to cap A point unless these illuminated missiles do something about that. We need to get through those fleets quicker as, again, I got distracted. Let's watch this action go. Cracking on them being mistake for Breaking Bad character. Aren't they? Huh. That's dead Russian Wagner kind of meme. Oh, I thought it was the bald guy from Breaking Bad whose name totally I blanked on. Or is it Better Call Saul? It's one of them. It's Mike, isn't it, I think? Anyway, so that is going to be a dead A capper, but not before it caps the point there, so that's a bit unfortunate. All right, let's go through the fleets there, because action kicks off and I get distracted. Anyways, Journeyman here has got a bunch of Barracudas, a couple of Pike Scouts, very good stuff. Seeing a quartet of monitors, it looks like, moving up here. All right, interesting little fleet. Got some C-90 on these things with a bunch of point defense joining them. Very cool stuff here. Drive check, yep, Sundrive, and Sundrive and the Yard Drive. Very nice to move yourself around. Sunflower Girl coming in here with a 3K more line by the looks of it. It's, not sure exactly if this is a refit of one of the starters. No, it's a different hull type, so. All right, whole bunch of Barracudas. Oh, Sunny. Sunny just going oops all Barracuda with this one. All right, so they've got themselves a couple of these scouts, but we're seeing a bunch of these guys just running pure bomb and 20 mil, and then these ones are running STM2s and bombs and 20 mil. All right, that's a all-in fleet if I ever saw one. Trident going to be bringing a bit more vanilla to the comp here as they're running a pair of 4th Isellos that look pretty standard. T-20 secondary guns, kind of a tech choice there. Lighter on point defense, but still able to do a bit of stuff. Jammers as well, kind of a cool variant of the fleet. Then last we got Wyvern over here, who's got... God damn it. Don't do this. Why would you put that there? Okay, a creature of an Isello, early warning radar, and T-30s on this thing. All right, well, that's a choice. Mass Driver with MLS-2 as escorts for the support fleet on this thing, and a whole bunch of these, not even that many size 2s, just one salvo's worth. Okay, and then they've also got the same thing that is currently firing off. Did they just use a bunch of their missiles? They've just sent off 4 of their missiles. What are these? Act with ARAD Val. Okay, well, that's a fleet. Hi, Scape. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's certainly a thing. Welcome to Nebulous Fleet Reviews. We have questions. One defender being the bane of Sunny's quite funny. Yeah, so Sunny is trying to do the oops all bombs strategy here to try and get onto target and then just unload a whole bunch of the KB-15s. Unfortunately, the defender is basically coded as DP yes. So anytime you get a bunch of these bombs flying in a straight line, it can quickly task onto them and chew through them. That said, the 450 is not going to do much against these, but the T20s definitely would start adding up over time. Actually, yeah, maybe it is just the angling here, but this thing has been eating a lot of damage. See, the Mike Collins over here did get taken out. D point was capped, but is going to be secured for the, about a minute or two till those Isellos step on. Size 2 is coming out over here, going to be chasing off some of those corvettes. We'll snipe back to that in a second. Take a look at the battle space. Not much else happening, so let's watch the missile strikes go through. Mass driver monitors, yeah, they do exist. They're kind of rare, but you can see them occasionally. Anyways, Shrike doesn't have ACMs. Who is Shrike on the board here? Let's see. Shrike over here with a bunch of R1 rocket pods on these things. Double R1 rocket pods. Okay, Strike Central apparently. Perch and gun. Huh. Heck is going on in this game? I don't know, but this is certainly an interesting one. Yeah, screw tournaments where people are trying to win. Let's play some weird shit. This is cool. Lancer Flight over here has got a bunch of flashbang missiles. Oh boy. Okay, so these are interesting. These force craft to evade because they have to try and like break the angle so that they don't get the radar seen. They're also very cheap because they don't have any missile actual payload in them, which is something that should probably get updated with the craft AI logic of making it so you have to bring an explosive, otherwise they won't register it as a threat. Anyways, Coil Gun is going to be the name of the game on these guys. They're getting some more of their fighter craft trying to catch up. Tasty is where on the board? Tasty is over here with the Vibes Puffy. Absolutely greeted to hell. No damage control or anything on this. Let me see it. Yeah, just deck your lockers, flight decks, trying to hope that they never get struck, which has totally never ever caught them off guard before, right, Tasty? You wouldn't get your bulk mag sniped and not be our support player for an entire game, would you, Tasty? Tasty's one of the frequenters of the channel, so we like to roast him a little bit for funny things that happened. Again, greed builds do have their downsides and caveats. All right, bit of a engagement going on here on the neutral. Well, I say neutral, but it's currently in the hands of the OSP. STM2 is going to be finding their way into some Tantos there. Coil guns are good, but not that good, apparently. Able to get 2 of those for their trouble. Lucky Flight over here is just a group of 6 skiffs with 35mm flechette rounds that are... I'm actually not sure if this is bad or good, because I think that if Lucky actually commits into this fight and the Tantos take it, they might be able to shred them with those 35mm turrets. I've done some weird testing with a couple friends, and I've seen some interesting things. We see a bunch of these missiles going off here, these size 1 flashbangs doing absolutely nothing against these skiffs because they just couldn't be bothered. Like, yeah, it's a flashbang. Congratulations, got no explosive on that one. Tasty going to be blowing their entire missile payload here, which is what they want to try and force evades with. Daggerflight kind of committing into this, but honestly, if OSP just commits to the brawl here, they might take this. Lancerflight is on about half ammo, which is a concern. Daggerflight just not really engaging or being forced onto evade. Not sure about that. There we go. Now they're starting to get a piece of the action. Trying to send some of that 20mm and see a couple of these missiles flying by here, looking for targets. STM2s with Act CMD Val. Very accurate track on that one. Daggerflight looking like it's kind of getting cleaned up here. He doesn't have any ACMs or AMMs. Why is he running on the flashbangs? I think it's just specifically so we can try Coil Max with this build. Anyways, Sunny is going to be losing Lucky Flight there by the looks of it. Yeah, Vulture, Lancer going to clean this up quite nicely. Coil guns, again, very effective when you get 2 of those Tantos locked onto a target. They can one-tap it very effectively. That said, though, we see Lancer Flight here. Its staying power has been exhausted. It is thanks to its reinforcing flight there from Vulture. They were able to win that out. If they run out of ammo and you're in a dogfight, you're in for a very bad time. All right. You see over here, Hallow has stepped onto the D point. An opening was created by Trident over here, moving themselves down. Now they're going to be eating a bit of 450 fire from the broadside as we take a look at the incoming there. That's going to be a nasty little piece of work. All right. Meanwhile, we'll take a look at this from the ANS perspective. They got their battleship on target. I swear that's the guy from... maybe it's not after all. Yeah. I thought it was the guy from Breaking Bad. You know, that might just be the thumbnail. We'll just go like, ooh, or something like that. Just put that Breaking Bad guy. I'm pretty sure it's Mike, right? Mike Breaking Bad? That sounds right. Anyways. We just put him in the thumbnail and then let people try and figure it out. All right, GoFather over here has teamed up with Sillin, and they're going to be taking a 2v1 against Trident on that angle, which is a nice way to try and push off those Ocellos. There's a couple fighters and Sundial over here just kind of hanging out on station. Meantime, B point comfortably in the hands. Tasty had committed a lot of assets over here. Fencer Flight could be finding some stuff in the backfield here as a rocket strike going off, trying to hunt down some of Tasty's things. So Tasty potentially using this as bait or just getting caught out here. Either way, going to see some of these fighter craft committing on target. Panther Flight is going to be taking some hits there. So you see this coil guns just starting to eat very good. 2 fighters from Fencer are going to be having a time of their life as Panther Flight is just getting shredded. Absolute destruction there as Fencer, just the pair of them, the 2 amigos with the coil guns just sweeping through that as they went to strike duty. Tasty does suffer some damage over here with the drive and this ship here in its front side just completely getting gutted, but still able to do some good cleanup there. Not all old bald men are Mike from Breaking Bad. Well, they can be in our hearts, all right? Let them have an acting career, damn it. Anyways, Tasty going to step onto the A point as there's not a lot of Overwatch currently going. OSP's committed a lot of stuff into their carrier here. Like, they've got Sunflower fully onto it. They've got Hallow designating, like, a good chunk of their budget into their Journeyman. Same can be said for Shrike. And as it goes now, they don't have that much in the way of frontline to really push with. Wyvern has this kind of odd sort of creature support fleet over here with an Ocello and Mass Driver pair, which aren't really finding too much effect on target by the looks of it. We're seeing now what happens with the OSP is the kind of sole like resilient frontline Trident getting stuck over here with a 2v1 engagement going on as these 450 and 250 are just going to start biting into these Acellos. Acellos are a bit resilient. Ooh, Reactor Bloom a little close for comfort there. That could have stripped all the armor and allowed them to use HE rounds into these things. The Concord taking a couple hits in the nose there. We see it is reinforced stacked fairly well in the front. Does have a plant control center. Probably doesn't want to lose. Bulk magazine taking a lot of damage though. That's a bit of concern since these are only one magazine. So if they lose that, that loses them the ability to fight back. Also seeing these guys getting some bad jamming burnout here as they've had to jam for a long time trying to break blocks. Walter, we have to reach Moscow, Walter. Meanwhile, ANS is going to be sitting comfortably on a 3 cap at this current situation. OSP is sitting about on a 2 cap. Shrike could be able to get into the game, but they've got all of these various like supportive assets. Like a C90 array over here is quite resilient, but there's no secondary batteries to support it. Just a bunch of point defense there. There is, so Trident over here saying like, hey boss, I need help here. I'm solo on the front line. Bit of a all chat oopsies error there can happen sometimes. But yeah, the Battleship and the Vauxhall, as well as the Axerid here. Yeah, the Axerid taking the better part of the damage on this one. Bit of a, okay, it's getting a little bit of different damage across this thing. I'm not sure exactly what hit it. Maybe it was mass drivers in from 450, but either way, just kind of pushing Trident down here below like the D-Rock, and there's not really much in position to try and relieve them. Taking a look over at Sunny. Sunny does not really have any bombers. Yeah, so it's just Barracuda's trying to go for strikes there, and the strikes were getting cleaned up pretty well by the incoming fighters. Walter, where's my ammo, Walter? Where are my bombers? Yeah. So the Sun hostile wasn't intended. Yes, they're just trying to explain how team chat works on that. Yeah, OSP has no bombers. I think it was like Hallow had a pair of them. Yeah, Hallow's got a pair of bombers on pre-flight, which in a cap fleet like that, you probably just expect them on 100 mil gun duty. Streak Fighter over here from Hallow going to be trying to find that wounded ship from Casey, I think. These guys are kitted out for anti-air duty, 35 mil Flechette nose guns, and some SDM2s. So nothing they can really strike here. Might be able to pick off that sundial, though, if they're close. Hitman Flight as well can be heading over that way. A couple of missile interceptions kind of going down here below the map to see if Hallow is able to see these off at the last second or not. Looks like not. Going to be 1 and 2. Unfortunate just sniping out the reactor there and instead of potentially getting the whole like front section on this thing. It does have a damage control team to fix that reinforced drive, which is partially why you bring this damn thing. So yeah, a bit of an interesting development here. GoFather's absolutely going for it. Vauxhall in danger close range. The Concorde has been ripped into pretty fiercely by the rest of the ANS's front line. And a little bit of frame droppage here as there's some stuff going on. What is this happening? Okay, we got a bit of a furball developing apparently according to this indicator. Gorgon Flight floating nearby, but not quite committing. Sunny is thinking about doing another strike here. They've got 20 mil and SDM2s that could do some work there. TC has 2 bombs, don't count, they're purely anti-light. Yeah, it looks like TC had like some sweeper asset kind of stuff going around there just for like poking away at some light ships, which is honestly not a bad idea. Take a look, TC has those bombers still. Yeah, they got just default Claymore name. If maybe one of them is on the map, let's see. Yeah, these guys are independently going around using Axe CMD. This is basically just the payload you get from a multi-mission tug, so it's quite nice to see those things getting some work done. All right, let's see. KB-15 bomb's going to be deployed here. Not going to be hitting that Vauxhall anytime soon, if I had any guess. Yeah, going to be flying too close to the sun, right into defender range there. All right, Gorgon Flight is thinking about it over here. It looks like a furball has developed. Let's take a look here as, yeah, Joker Flight does have the numbers advantage on them. They've expended their SDM2s to probably establish that, but looking like those coil toes able to keep a little bit of distance. They're just constantly pecking away at those things. Yeah, Gorgon Flight going to completely wipe through there. That is devastating damage. Yeah, going into that with a 7 versus 12 and then Gorgon Flight just evenly sweeping that. That is quite fierce there. Damn. Lack of some of the smaller anti-craft munitions as well. Didn't see as many size ones being expended there to try and force a craft to evade, make them not be able to team up with those coil guns very effectively onto targets. Could definitely see some of that being used as well. The SDM2s can be shot down automatically, so I think some S1s could be good. Okay, here comes a bunch of these size 2s strikes being deployed over here. Goatfather might be eating it here. We'll see if the Iron Maiden or the Black Sabbath is going to be the target. Looks like it's going to be the Iron Maiden. Watch these cinematics as we see now topside point defense going to be coming in here and doing a pretty damn good job. A little bit of wiggle on these things, but not enough to really do that much. A couple will find their way home, but of the like 16 that came out to strike, that is only about 3 on target. We're seeing now some more of them coming in. We'll see if Tasty's able to intercept or not. Cripplingly low on coil gun ammo, unfortunately, going to be meaning they have no ability to engage these. Still, defenders are doing pretty well here, shooting down a lot of these size 2s. Yeah, so it's going to be a mass driver and like 3 more size 2s getting into it. Iron Maiden has taken some fierce damage here, but is still holding on. What is the follow-up punch to this? Where is the 450? There's a C90 array currently laying into this thing that can break some of that stuff. There is no... Yeah, there's no 450 up here from the creature of the Acello, which I have questions about. It's just on Trident to try and follow up on that, and Trident currently not in position as they were forced down here earlier and are currently suffering as they're trying to repair their ships. The relentless attacks here. Yeah, Sullivan coming over the rock here. Does take some hit in the back there in the reactor slot and loses the gun plotting center, but still acceptable casualties on a battleship which has 14 teams and 7 restores. They're just going to plow around this rock and tear into them. Vauxhall as well down here is like taking some hits, but is still doing fairly healthy. Like, it might be suffering at the moment, but if it can find cover for a little bit, turn out those flank thrusters to get all its essentials back up, it should just be able to get that gun back together. That's all it really needs. What is the CL doing down there? Why did it fly down there? It was very aggressively chasing. All right, let's take a look around. So it looks like Hallow trying for something over on B point and going to be seen off for their trouble. Here comes a bunch of the Saw size 1 dump, which you can do thanks to the very, very effective internal bay there for the Tantos. Going to get a lot of effect on target. By a lot of effect on target, I mean, oh my god, it's dead. I want to heal. I want to live, apparently, instead. Just completely torn apart. Only a thruster or 2 left on this thing and the reactor going off as it is completely flipped over. Get rotated, idiot, indeed. Yeah, Vulture Flight over here just fully committed to saw dumping on this thing with the nose illuminators. Not even taking fuel tanks. They're that committed to just seeing how many size 1s they can take. Maybe they do have the center line fuel tank. I'm not sure. I don't think they've got wing mounts, so yeah, it must be that they've just done the like no fuel tank run for it. All right. Here comes Arbiter Flight committing on target with a whole bunch of their rockets. Going to be seeing off 2 of Tasty's vessels here as these things are caught in the side that does not have point defense on it, unfortunately. Even if they did, that's a lot of rockets being sent out there as it was Gorgon Flight? Yeah, Gorgon Flight here had the rocket pods going in. Was it also Arbiter? Arbiter as well. That's the double rocket setup, so Shrek able to get some effect on target. Bit of combat commencing now as we see Ruby over here going to be engaging. Ruby Flight is more of those coil toes with these. Okay, so they got some SCM2s here. Who are these from? I think these are, yeah, these are from Mav, who has got a nice setup of loadouts with the SCM2s. All right, seeing some of that 20 mil and flechette going out here. Going to be seeing quite a few of these Barracudas just constantly getting splashed. Ruby Flight has not taken a loss in these engages. They're just relentlessly engaging here. Yeah, watching as these 20 mil rounds, maybe actually going to be finding something there. Hard to say exactly. Looks like they shot down something or other, but yeah, just the coil toe is just completely cleaning the skies as Wasp Plate is just getting torn apart here. 20 mil and 35 mil not going to do anything against those as Ruby Flight Queens, yeah, just complete clean sweep there. Took him like maybe 1 hit from a lucky missile, but otherwise, yeah. I don't know about that one, Chief. Like, those coil toes are looking pretty good right now. Demon Flight is airborne with cluster bombs, but they are going to want to get out of here as they are walking right into those coil toe flights. Arbiter kind of toeing the line here as they are not really set up to fight that anyways. They got rocket pods that they used up. Yeah, Demon Flight going to be taking hits here as now Ruby is going to be engaging onto them. Maybe not, actually. Kind of looking like they're thinking twice here. Okay. A couple of them are starting to pick off. There we go. That was the pickoffs they're looking for, just trying to hunt down what they can. Meanwhile, down on the D point side of it, we're going to see that the Acellos are doing a pretty fierce number against the CL. They must have torn this thing up while we were not looking. Now the Acellos have got bow on target and are going to be hitting the battleship into the broadside. Battleship thinking a little bit twice about this, but at the same time does still have enough of its systems here. 14 teams and the buffs they should have. Where's your buff modules anyways? Should have buff modules in this thing. Where do they go? You got failsafe. Am I just blind? Where is your buff modules? You should totally have DC buffs modules in this thing. Maybe you just cheaped out on it. Interesting. All right. Well, normally you see like a damage control central or workshop on one of those. Maybe I'm just blind. Anyways, Hallow looking for opportunities over here, trying to step onto the D point when an opening is created by Trident. There, we'll see how that develops. Still, ANS sitting on a 4 cap pretty happily right now. Hallow has bled quite a few of their shuttles. Tasty bleeding corvettes as well. Goatfather over here, like we had mentioned before with the Iron Maiden, is getting shot to hell by the C90 array and the mass drivers that were relentlessly engaging it, but there was not, unfortunately, enough to really follow up and kill this thing off. Need plasma to get those 100 mil HE/HC rounds into target if you want to do that, or you need some 250 or 450 to properly knock out this thing's systems. Still has quite a few of these systems alive, and with 6 teams still here working overtime, they can definitely put the ship back together and still be combat effective, which is quite a scary thing in the later games when the ship that you think that you've killed off just suddenly comes back to life like a zombie. All right, I believe that we're just shy of halftime here. Looking at this game will be going to 1250 points. We set that in the pregame lobby and remembered to actually do that because it's notorious for Nix's eye when you load it up, you forget to set that. Anyways, 628 points there on the board. So OSP is still in the second quarter. ANS now comfortably into the third and looking like they're going to have a pretty good time here. So they're sitting on a 4-cap situation, and OSP really needs to do something about it, and I don't see them doing that. Tasty's run out of S2s. He's loading onto bombers. Yeah, so Tasty is getting a lot of their strike stuff done. You see their bombers are still here. I believe that Tasty has... Yeah, they got some Tempest left. So nice to see the size 2 bomb bay getting used. It does have the nice ability to clean up some of those lighter, smaller ships. Speaking of lighter, smaller, Howler trying to walk onto the point with their mine launcher here. Does it have mines still left? Yes, it does. Interesting. Might be able to get on the point, but could be seen off by the battleship here, which does have, I believe... yeah, it's got the secondary Mark 61s on that thing. That's what I was looking at. It was Savvy over here on the far side of the map. We've got the Mark 65s. Savvy currently occupying the top slot of the map here, going to be overwatching A point with their secondary batteries. Hallow trying to make their way onto point and going to be rapidly dismantled here. The I want to feel is... Well, we made the joke about it wanting to live before, and, well, that's kind of... We've been through that song and dance. Let's move on, shall we? Anyways, OSP looking like they might be getting a little bit deplaned here. Sunflower Girl does still have some Barracudas, but the count has been heavily diminished this whole game. The dual carrier coming in from OSP doing a bit... Or dual carrier coming in from ANS doing very good against the 1, 2, 3 carriers from OSP. The 3K more line was set up for... What I just call it kind of a all-in too much on one build, where you need to diversify a little bit of your stuff there. You can't just Barracuda max. You need to get some other things to do strikes against large targets. The Spearfish rockets with bomb follow-ups are very fierce against capitals, especially considering there's 2 battleships on the board that I'm not really sure if OSP has an answer for. A-Capper, they're going to finally bite the dust as we saw those missiles strike. Crimson Flight is airborne from Sunny here, who does have KB-22s and KB-15s. That might be enough, but just the bombs alone with a good point defense grid, I'm not sure if those will find their way in. Might be able to pen through the battleship depending if it has flak or not. Looks like it does not. Actually, a bit of a lack of point defense on this thing. Yeah, just 1 defender per side here. So with like not the most escorts, as we see it's got its little kind of escorting friend here moving away. This could be a vulnerable target, assuming a Crimson Flight is able to get up and airborne and engage that. They could pick off Sea or Sundial on the way by. Meanwhile, down on the D point, Trident is trying to hold on here, putting their nose towards enemies, same way that Selen has. Selen losing the top half of the ship here. Good old antenna getting knocked out. So, gonna be doing all right, though. Battleship is still Battleship. Bow towards enemy, you'll be fine. Just able to return fire, as both of these players will be trying to smack each other for the next foreseeable future. All right. Yeah, they had a backup antenna on the battleship. Yeah, the battleship antenna is notorious for like taking 1 singular hit from the most random round. Like, you can sneeze at a battleship, and the battleship loses topside antenna. There's a reason why you always bring it back up, usually on the cheek mounts there, like we had seen. Anyways, Crimson Flight is looking to go for that battleship by the looks of it. The battleship here has been tracked, and we see a mass driver trying to hit that target. I believe, yeah, just locked onto early warning. They're not going to be very effective. Still, if Crimson Flight comes over the rock here and is not detected, they're briefly locked up for a second, but looks like they then lose it. It's going to be on Tasty and Mav to see what they can move into position in time, because that is a critical mass of fighters moving around here to try and get into the battleship. Let's see what they get. Yeah, Hornet Flight is also airborne. Ruby Flight as well. These are just on like air patrol duty with 20 mils. They're not really going to be going anything for the strike. It looks like ANS just does not currently have anything in position. Mav may be trying to move over here, but they've got some SDM-1s with just... Saw SDM-1s with a nose illuminator? That's a new one for me. All right, so Crimson Flight looks like they're lining up on target. They're going to be in a plus formation to try and get their bombs through here, trying to overwhelm that singular defender. This is terrifying as a person who has been on the receiving end of a big strike like this. Crimson Flight is flying very evasively. Let's see if they get attack orders issued. They should lock in like we are seeing now. There we go. Bombing run commencing. Let it rip, Chief. Singular Defender is going to be trying to do some work. Might be shooting down some of these fighters. Definitely seeing some of them go. Bombs are out on target, though. Hello to the battleship broadside. That's going to be some damage going into this thing. A lot of bomb strikes finding their way home. Defender is still active, though, picking off a couple of them. Not that much effect on target, as the battleship armor is, in fact, just that good. KB-15s do not have the armor pen needed. Had some impact and will shred the armor, but besides sniping the drives here with some of the KB-22s, that is not what you want to be seeing, especially considering now Crimson Flight getting totally wiped as Lancer sees them go for the bombing run and dives onto them. Coil guns sweeping the skies once again here. Battleship said, I don't hear no bell, and just going to keep on trucking there. Deca Flight does pick off a Sundial, which is very nice investment there, but otherwise, like, ANS is doing pretty good here. Sunflower Girl, I think, is down to just, yep, 2 fighters left in the bank, so they've just got a little bit of air patrol around. Still trying to get some bombs there, but yeah, that is not looking good. Commenting on Selen being almost dead. Over here, we see the dual Acello is Actually doing pretty well against the battleship here. Battleship just kind of getting smacked around a bit. It's not structure broken, but still just taking a lot of fire as these two ships are able to engage, one from the front and then one from the broadside. Now the C-90 array is starting to commit onto target. Bit of a kind of positioning error here as we see this one is currently out of range, needs to be moved up just a little bit more. The other one's happily sitting in range. Okay, these ones are just out of range as well. A little bit of an awkward distance there, but you can fix that if you are on the ball. Anyways, Tasty looking like they're going to be maybe trying to go for an E-point drive. Drive's dead. Drive's dead? Wait, hang on a second. Go back. Ah, okay, yeah, the broadside shot's going to find the drive section here. It's not enough to break these. Stop putting small drives in big slots. Stop that, you goobers. Either way, yeah, Battleship here going to be having a rough go as those 450s are going to be enough to break those big drives there if it's able to be consistently shot. Can position fire here to get that snipe you're looking for. Anyways, a couple of those missiles going around the outside here and looking like they're going to find nothing. It looks like Sarissa Brick is doing its job shooting down those missiles on approach there. OSP does need caps. That is correct from NoCac over here. We are 900 points on the board for ANS, 450 for the OSP, so half of what ANS currently got there. Yeah, Hallow's cap fleet getting mostly annihilated means that OSP needs to step onto a point and do it soon. Otherwise, they're just pretty much out of this game, as that is a significant cap fleet. You never want to find yourself with that much difference there. Just when the enemy has double your score at this stage of the game and they're comfortably into that third, approaching fourth quarter. Hang on, quick math. They might actually, are they in the fourth quarter yet? I don't think they're quite in it. So it'd be 975 would be fourth quarter that they've hit. But yeah, ANS flying ahead on those caps there. Tasty able to preserve some of their assets. Mav has a couple Corvettes as well versus Hallow, which is down to just a singular capper Corvette here, or shuttle rather, the mine vet that managed to make its way around mine vet. God, I've got to stop doing that. Anyways, the mine shuttle making its way around to the C point here could be cleaned up by any of these strikes, and then the C point would just be retaken. But yeah, yeah, we're going to reiterate this is to 1250, and that, as you can see by these scoreboards here. Again, I kind of wish that we had timers on the side here that says, hey, you know, like, it's going to take you at this current rate, I don't know, like, it will take you 10 minutes and 37 seconds to finally cap out. And for the OSP, it'd be like, it will take you guys, I don't know, 20 minutes and 46 seconds. Just a nice way we still have to break out the calculators to figure it out. But yeah, that is a very significant cap disadvantage there. Wyvern able to do kind of something with their creature over here, trying to go and take out some of this guys. I have questions about this build. This is certainly a choice you can make in Nebulous Fleet Command. If I make this the thumbnail, is that too cruel? Like, I don't know. Gonna turn off the HUD here and just take a look at this thing. Yeah, it's a build. I kind of want to get this fleet just so I can submit it to Scapegoat for like fleet review, because we kind of have fun badgering each other about fleet review stuff. It's like, hey, what did they send you? And we both answer, I don't want to talk about it. Splinter Flight got found over here by a bunch of those SDM2s, but in turn shooting them down with coil guns very effectively. Impulse does lose one, Splinter as well, down to just 6 of them. Rebel Flight kind of getting into the mix here with their 20 mil. There you go. Okay, so Impulse and Splinter now kind of hitting that moment where I don't think they have the most sand shot left. Yeah, the coil gun's getting dangerously low. They might run out of the magazine here, and then Rebel and Strife Flight can just finish up sweeping them. All right, a little bit of flak also being contributed over here from, looks like Hallow maybe in the backfield there. Heartbreak going to also join the fray, going to be sweeping in through here. Yeah, Impulse, I think, is out of ammunition. They're just stuck in this, and they have no escape from that. So, yeah, these guys are going to get cleaned up now, finally. Why is Rebel unauthorized? Good question. Probably just set that at the start, was trying to do a bombing run, but unfortunately now Rebel Flight just kind of flying evasive. They're not committing onto any targets. Oh no, Escape can only handle so much. Don't worry, buddy. I'll be nice about it. Anyways, Goblin Flight going to be joining the fray here. They've fired off their SDM2s, but their coil guns are locked and loaded. Going to be picking off some of these targets. Tantos naturally try and group up using the wingman mechanic to see if they can't get 2 shots into a target just like that. You see how fast you can kill a Barracuda. 2 taps to the center mass of that fighter, and it is out of there. You see them also getting swept a little bit here as Heartbreak is going to be committing on. Hallow getting into the fray. They're going to be picking off 1 or 2 of those. The craft war kind of continues here. Very crippling for the OSP as most of their assets have been just deplaned. Sunny is down to just nothing here. What you see, what you got. Meantime, for Shrike over here, I think that they are also out. No, they got some fighters. They're just taking their sweet time getting off the deck. This thing does have only 1 deck gear locker. It has a strike down station. Not something you see every day with open spaces there, but that's very good if you want to get like 3 bombers off the deck, but I don't believe they brought that, so probably just better to go with triple deck gear locker, get yourself your stuff out faster. Anyways, C90 array is currently rotating to point at something or other. Looks like the fighters will sweep it as finally we're going to see the Tanto. Oh, hang on a second. What do we got back here? Got some saw missiles. Look like they found Hallow, unfortunately. Oh no. The Spam Toe is going to come out here as we miss the size 1 strike, but we see the after effects as Hallow has just been completely gutted. Magazine and Reactor looking like they're going to go off. You have to scram this. There is no way to fix that Reactor with that much work speed debuff on this thing. You do not have time. Magazine, you can restore, or rather fix up, but yeah, that is not what you want to find, especially considering the situation. Broke the T-30. Oh no, the T-30, yeah. Mav over here able to provide radar support from one of their corvettes here, the Buzz Aldrin with its front line there. All right, small reactor on this thing. Why does this build need a reactor booster? Hang on a second. I don't think this thing needs a reactor booster. Oh, it's got a radar drive. That's why. All right, so radar drive providing no power. That's what they need the booster for. Interesting little tech there, going for a little bit more evasive strafing. I can see the point of that in a little bit of a dodge dance game later on. Anyways, dropkick flight is airborne. Now we see some of the things that Tasty can do. So the bombers that have been doing anti-light strike all game, able to find some cripple targets maybe in the late game. Got to see how well these Acellos have their point defense set up. They do still have their Auroras on some facings somewhere. They got a Grazer on the chin on that one, and this one over here appears to have 3 Auroras that should be able to get on target. See some 450 going out against the Iron Maiden, which still refuses to die. Dropkick Flight is able to carry 4 bombs per bomber with a size 2 bay. That is one of the advantages of it when you want to go after crippled ships. We will see if they are able to get through the point defense networks here or not. Dragoon Flight is going to be escorting them here. They've got their coil guns and jamming pods and some bombs of their own with size 2 bay. So Tasty kitting up for critical mass aggression here. Going to see if they can't get some bombs into one of those Acellos and maybe take that D point. Still, Anna's looking pretty far ahead. Also, on the other side of the map, you can see Hot Rod Flight here trying to do something. Cheetah Flight got through with their strike earlier on, but Hot Rod has been relentlessly trying to run them down. Not quite in range here and might be finding the Carrier in turn. Carrier does have its own point defense. And in 1 cap, 100% win territory, yet Alliance is looking very strong in this situation. The OSP needs to clear the skies and then secure a 5 cap at this rate. Bombers are going to get lasered a little bit here, but they do have a fair chunk of health. Remember, the Aurora does not have enough armor pen to do full damage, so it only does half damage against things like those bombers. Good to see the Grazers and Auroras trying to pick off some of these KB-22s, but a couple of them looking like they'll get on target. Some more bombs as well fired off from those interceptors. We'll see how these things affect this ship as they're going to look like they get through. There we go. Immediately getting a snipe out on the entire aft section. Oh, small dragonflies. Ah, no. Stop doing this. Please, people, bring yourselves big drives. Anyways, Concord going to be losing its entire tail section there. It is kept alive by a singular reactor and a aux steering. That's all it's got there. Tasty now, unfortunately, disconnecting there. I think that was it was probably just a latency drop thing. That's unfortunate. Is Tasty not going to be awarded the W in this match? It's going to be GG being called there as the players realize the situation. Yeah. Ripperoni, Tasty, sorry. You bombed too close to the sun, Chief. You hit their internet connection. Oh, no. The Atlas over here going to be fairly healthy, still able to engage with his Auroras, which had battle shorted and is unfortunately currently suffering through, but yeah, damn. You got your strike through, Tasty. I'll give you credit. You gutted that thing's backside, but you can see over here, the Iron Maiden just refusing to die as the 450 tries to break this thing. CIC and the big Dragonfly keeping it alive here, as well as that reactor. Sunny has elected to surrender. OSP recognizing situation, knowing that they don't quite have a shot on that one. Yeah. S2 Bomber's underappreciated. Yeah, the S2 Claymore is a very underutilized asset, and I think it will find kind of a place there. As we saw in this game, Tasty doing some good tech with it, using singular bombers. You can run like 1 or 2 of them, get either 4 or 8 size 2 target, 4 or 8 size 2 missiles onto a small target like that. Able to strike very well against some of these lighter threats on the OSP side, like we saw Hallow bring with a whole bunch of these shuttles, or you can see some things like some tugs you might want to see off as well. So you suffered psychic damage through looking at the OSP fleets. Yeah, there was a bit of like some interesting stuff there. I think that the problem here was OSP did not meet the necessary beef quota, and ANS definitely did. ANS with a 2 battleship frontline, reinforced by a Axford here and a Sweeper CL, just kind of able to go around as they please, picking their fights. Solo frontline for the OSP team was Trident here, just running a pair of Acellos, which only controlled an area down on the E point there. I'll give credit to Trident. Like, Trident did definitely put in their work here, trying to get their Acellos to find some capital targets they can engage against. It was taking some very good fights against the Battleship and Axfords there. For considering like they are taking a 2v1, they did very well. Fortunately, Wyvern was a supportive fleet here, kind of with a weird creature Acello, and then they had their missile and mass driver monitors here trying to do some work. There was then Sunflower Girl as another like 3k support. So that's just like a double 3,000 point support fleet taken from both of these sides. And lastly, you've got Shrike over here, who is running like a C90 array, which is kind of a direct damage like dealer, but not really able to get the full like kind of into the enemy like bite that you might want from something like, say, Garnet Squadron, which is 5 monitors with the secondary batteries in the top and bottom. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, OSP just kind of not bringing the tools that they needed to succeed here. We did see that the Coil Toes were doing very, very well this game, and I want to reiterate that because, again, they've been on my radar. I'm like, maybe this pendulum thing, we still got to, like, measure a bit more. Check out some public test branch in a bit for that. Yeah. I'd say, like, a lot of it is just, like, deciding, do we have sufficient amount of frontline? Have we gotten that investment? If it's like, okay, is there, like, 50% of our team's budget approximately devoted to holding the enemy in position, going to be exchanging fire, resilient assets that keep themselves alive, a monitor blob, say, like, 4 or 5 of them with a bunch of, like, DPS that can get into close quarters? Do we have that? We got the Acellos as well going with that. But we got, like, some other capper assets for, like, another quarter of our budget. Did we devote, like, enough towards the support strike that we might want? Anna's got a much more balanced team comp here, and they very much levered their advantage where they could, be able to take those favorable frontline fights as long as they could, able to get sky control in localized areas with those Coil Toes before they run out of ammo and then do some good work. Unfortunately, in this case, I think OSP just not quite bringing the right tools to the job and getting bled out for it. Still not the greatest situation to find yourself in if you want to, like, run your own particular fleets, but I think there's a time where it's like you have to ask your team, it's like, all right, do we have enough assets in these departments? Do we feel confident with this? What do we feel like if the enemy, say, brings, like, a double carrier? Do we have enough anti-craft munitions? Have we got some of these tools to, like, sweep through the skies with it? And then just decided, like, do we also meet, like, the frontline beefcake quota? Like, what if they just want to frontline, like, 450 fist fight us? How do we go with that? Yeah. Cap fleet got degraded, and while the Kudas were geared towards bombing, yeah, very much was a case of the Kudas there being geared towards bombing with a lot of their loadouts. But still, we saw quite a few of those fights. The Coil Toes just very comfortably sweeping as they were quite good. See, didn't really have good ASF loadouts. Sunny has no ACMs to the Kudas, as thought. Yeah, so Sunny in this case just going with the, again, this is like one of the risks of bringing an all-in build like that. I don't know if we can see the payload counts. Yeah, here we go. So we see there's a whole bunch of investment just maxing out on many Barracudas as you can, just going for all of these bombs. And as we saw, even though a bunch of these KB-15 bombs did hit, they unfortunately did not pen through the battleship's armor, so they just basically impacted and did no damage. They stripped the armor of those sections, but unless you get a follow-up punch with some lighter caliber rounds you want to get through there, it's not going to do anything, unfortunately. Yeah. Strike, but once again, yeah, again, this is, like, not a, like, super professional setting or anything like that. These are newer players. They're on the up and coming. They want to be learning a bit of this stuff, figuring out what works, what doesn't. In this case, we saw what you need to do for, like, the OSP side there. You need to bring a little bit more beef, some 450 broadside or bulkers, just something to follow up on some of those strikes when you do get through and finally put somebody in the dirt. So it was still nice to see some of the tools on display there and just kind of get a sense of, like, how are these things performing? How do we feel about them? I don't want to, like, make this sound like I'm just calling something, like, blatantly overpowered, but I will say I saw some very good performance from different stuff in this game. So, yeah. Sorry, but Sunny is far from new. This is just a medium fleet. Yeah, so this is, again, it's like we get a mixture of people kind of, like, on the up and coming, and that it's like, obviously, you're a new player. If you don't have, like, 1,000 hours and a ton of wins to your name and Nebulous Fleet Command, this is sarcasm if you can't tell, but yeah. Yeah, we see, like, a little bit of, like, haha funny builds, and again, this is people who are playing the game and having fun, and we like that. Yeah. And we'll take the W here, and that is going to be OSP taking the L, but still, they might get it in the next round. So anyways, that's where I'm going to cap the recording off as we just kind of scroll through the damage numbers here. And I think that's kind of what we'll go with. Yeah, I got to see some size 2 bombers. I really like seeing these things. It was kind of cool seeing independent bombers going off and sweeping them. Yeah. Like I said, I've been NekoboyBlue. This is where we're capping the recording. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Meow, meow.